After our devastating loss to Georgia in the college football playoff semifinals, I had a big choice to make. In the end, I decided I had to finish what I started, so I was going to play one more year as the Iowa quarterback. This year, I needed to tighten up my accuracy and reduce turnovers to increase my draft stock. I got off to a good start with a completion to my new target, Jacob Bostic, and I was sad Luke Lachey was gone, but Kale Vanderbrush looked like a solid replacement. On second down, I showed my pocket presence by stepping up and scrambling for a nice gain, and our first drive couldn't have gone better as I hit Ostrenga for an easy touchdown pass. I wanted to show NFL scouts that I could play in the pocket this year, but my offensive line had not gotten any better. Thankfully, I showed a crazy burst of acceleration, and I was looking like the fastest guy on the field as I avoided multiple defenders for a huge gain. Scrambling was a big part of my game, but I always kept my eyes downfield, which allowed me to hit Brody Brett for a beautiful touchdown pass and put us up by 2 scores. It looked like we were going to run away with this game already, and Jacob Bostic was looking like the fastest receiver on the field right now. Unfortunately, I threw an absolutely terrible goal line pick, and the NFL scouts were not going to like that decision. After my mistake, Iowa State had all the momentum, and just like that, they had the lead. Their pass rush was vicious, but I was able to get a quick one out to my guy Ostrander to get us moving downfield. With the way I was able to run the ball, I definitely could be a running back, especially when I was so used to taking hits. We were clamped up as my line collapsed again, and I took a terrible sack. Going into the fourth quarter, we were down 3, and I had to clutch up to avoid the comeback loss. On third down, I scrambled yet again to pick up a huge conversion and juked my way down to the 30. Then, on second and long, I hit Brody Brett, who was becoming a solid option on the outside, for a first down. I thought I had an easy touchdown pass on third down, but unfortunately, it somehow got called back for a clipping, so we had to convert on third down. Brian Ferentz called one of my favorite plays, and I delivered a strike to Vanderbrush for the go-ahead touchdown. I had clutched up again, and after we got the ball back, all we had to do was run out the clock. We opted to pass on first down, which was just fine with me, and then on a huge third down, I had a wide open scramble lane up the middle once again to pick up the first down and get us the win. I was still upset about the interception I threw, but I'd had yet another Heisman performance. Our next game was a road matchup against K-State, and we got off to a nice start with a play action pass to Brody Brett. I was getting almost no time in the pocket as usual, but I was making my reads with lightning speed as I found Brett again. On 3rd and 7, I had Bostic on the drag, and he did some extra work to get into the end zone for an opening drive touchdown. Our defense got a nice stop, and Brett was developing into one of my top targets on the outside as I continued to slice up the Wildcat defense. Kansas State forced a third down, but I had a wide open lane up the middle, and I did what I do best to get my first rushing touchdown of the day. The Wildcat offense answered with a field goal, but we were looking absolutely unstoppable on the road. K-State's defensive backs just couldn't cover the timing routes me and my receivers had been working on all offseason. I was trying to show the scouts that I could make smart reads and take what the defense gave me with easy dump-offs like this, but on 1st and goal, I got slung to the ground and coughed up the rock for a turnover. Thankfully, our defense was standing strong today, and 15 seconds felt like plenty of time for me to move us down the field. I continued to hit Brett for easy completions, but with time running down, he got popped short of the sticks, and we only had one play left to score. Luckily for us, the Kansas State free safety made a very stupid decision to try to jump the pass, which freed up Bostic for an easy touchdown to end the half. We continued to dominate on both sides of the ball as I showed off my scrambling ability for yet another big gain, and we ran out the clock to take care of the Wildcats with ease. Our next game was against lowly Kent State, and this game could not have possibly gotten off to a better start. I had a ton of open field on the read option, and all it took was one cut for me to take it all the way to the house. Surprisingly, Kent State was actually hanging with us, and their 10 fans in the stands were going crazy. I don't know why exactly we were playing this type of game on the road, but either way, I was dotting up the Golden Flash defense as Bostic was becoming a top receiver for me this year. On the next play, I showed how much my arm strength had improved over my career by making an impossible throw across my body to Brody Brett. Our verts weren't going to get open against man coverage, but luckily I was a whole lot faster than any of Kent State's players, so I got us down to the goal line and we punched it in for a touchdown. With 25 seconds left in the half, we needed some quick hitters to extend our lead. Vanderbrush got folded on this catch, but we were driving. Unfortunately, my perfect throw to Bostic went right through his hands, and midway through the third quarter, this was still very much a game. We had to wake up if we wanted to avoid an embarrassing loss, and I was doing my part as I continued to make quick reads to get my receivers the ball. On 3rd and 1, we needed another conversion, and Vanderbrush was able to get just enough separation for me to fit in a dot to finally give us a 2-score lead. All we had to do to close this one out was take care of the ball, but I wanted to continue racking up those Heisman stats as I got out of the pocket and into open space with ease. Unfortunately, I tried to do too much and fumbled, but the defense had my back as they got a big stop. We were still throwing the ball for some reason, but I wasn't complaining as my former high school teammate and I continued to connect, and we capped things off with a touchdown pass. It was a closer game than I'd expected, and I needed to take better care of the ball going into Big Ten play. Our Big Ten opener was at home against Minnesota, and I was determined to keep the Floyd of Rosedale in Iowa City. After a completion to Ostrander on the sideline, I made a risky throw over the middle, but it worked out as I was growing to trust Vanderbrush more and more. Our other new tight end, Addison Ostrega, got involved as I hit him on a play action pass, and he rumbled his way for an opening drive touchdown. Our defense got a stop, and I showed my ability to change directions on a dime as I almost got loose on the speed option. The receivers would be flocking to come to Iowa to play in this powerful Brian Ferentz offense. I decided to get loose for a scramble, and you'd think I would learn my lesson about trying to do too much, but it turns out that sometimes that works out. After the nastiest juke move of my life, I sped down the sidelines for a huge touchdown and a Heisman moment. We had jumped out to a big lead against this solid Minnesota team, and we looked to pile it on as I found my guy Jacob Bostic up the seam for a huge gain. Nothing Minnesota was calling on defense was working, because when they had everything clamped downfield, I was too fast to be contained from picking up huge gains. I was lucky not to fumble on that play, but my recklessness paid off again as I moseyed into the end zone for an easy scrambling touchdown. Up 35-0, our defense continued to shut down the Gophers, and even though Jacob Bostic's hands were questionable at times, I was able to keep us moving downfield with big third down conversions. The Gophers were tired from running to catch me all day, and a speed option play gave me my third rushing touchdown of the game. To put the cherry on top, me and Vanderbrush showed our perfect chemistry as we connected on this corner route, and nobody could stop him as he rumbled for a touchdown. We beat the Gophers into the ground, and I'd had another dominant performance as we held on to the Floyd of Rosedale.